Hello and welcome to Blockchain Gaming World with me, Jon Jordan. So today I thought I would have a look at AXIE Infinity and particularly the user data around AXIE Infinity. So this is just the website we're looking at here. It's a game that's been out for over a year now. I played it quite a bit when it was kind of first gaining, momentum at the start of 2019, but then it I got started playing other things, and it went a bit quiet for AXIE Infinity. Into 2020, it's got quite busy again. So actually, they've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes for various kind of features that they're adding to the game, and it's kind of interesting that we can track some of this in terms of at least the reaction of people playing the game. So that's what I'm going to have a look at in this video. I'm not going through how to play AXIE Infinity. There's plenty of people who do that, and I'll do some more videos around that soon. But this is going to have a look at the audience for AXIE Infinity and how that has changed over the past year or so. So everything starts with a graph when we're looking at the data. So this is my graph today, AXIE Infinity Daily Active Unique Wallet. So what does that actually mean? So this is data from DappRadar, and what it is tracking is the smart contracts, which are the bits of code that run on, in this case, the Ethereum and Loom blockchains. And because they're public blockchains, we can track wallets interacting with those smart contracts. So that's what we're doing in this case. And we have two different colors. So we have the blue dots, which is the Ethereum smart contracts for AXIE Infinity. And then we have the red diamonds, which is the Loom smart contract. The smart contracts running on Loom. Loom is what we call a layer 2 solution. Ethereum is like a layer 1 kind of a solution in terms of blockchain. So at the moment, the Loom activity, anything on a Loom network can be connected to Ethereum. There's bridging contracts that allow you to do that, move things between Ethereum and Loom. Actually, Loom also supports Tron and will support some other blockchains. It's seen as like a universal kind of scaling solution. Anyway, it's a bit too much detail for what we're talking about here. So let's have a look at the basic kind of flow of what has happened for AXIE Infinity. So you can see here the first data we're picking up is July 2018. So quite a while ago now. Year and a half ago, and so each one of these dots is obviously a day, and the date is horizontal, and vertically we're picking up how many unique wallets are interacting on that day with the smart contracts of AXIE Infinity. So we can't say these are individual users, because we can't tell whether for some reason that a single individual may be interacting with AXIE Infinity using multiple wallets. So we're not trying to work out user numbers here. This is wallet numbers, and they're probably not for AXIE Infinity, but for certain other games or certain other kind of types of dApps, you could have people using multiple wallets for various reasons. I mean, it might be particularly if there was a game with a daily login where if you logged in with a wallet, you got some items or some currency or something, then obviously some people would log in multiple times with multiple wallets, or potentially set up bot farms to kind of farm that sort of activity. Not really here for AXIE Infinity. So what we can see here is kind of typically what we see in a new product. So we see a kind of, obviously there's a certain amount of volatility each day, what's going on here, but we're, to begin with, in kind of the summer of 2018, there is less than 50 wallets interacting with AXIE Infinity smart contracts. And then we see the kind of gain more prominence and interesting stuff going on. And we see a kind of really steady rise over a kind of a period of weeks, and we end up about 200. So that's kind of the peak activity at the end of 2018, when lots of kind of interesting stuff's going on there. Falls away again as we enter 2019, and then we have what today is the biggest kind of increase, this big spike, and we can see here it's basically vertical. We go from about 150 daily active unique wallets to over 300. And what happens here is that AXIE Infinity does its land sale. So the land sale was people going in and buying this land token, ERC 721 token. So land is, as you'd expect, land in the game. So the feature kind of wasn't live then, but you could buy these NFTs and own them, and so there's an increasing interest in what was going on here. And as with most land sales, there were certain levels of rarity, and there are only a certain number of. In fact, there was only a certain amount of land being sold, but depending on what rarities you were trying to buy, there was kind of less of the more rare, more expensive land. So that drove a lot of activity, but we can kind of see, again over a few weeks that this land sale kind of drove activity, but then the activity dropped off. I mean, this was kind of a spike. This wasn't kind of gameplay. People just interacting with the game. This was a special new kind of time limited feature, so it drove audience, and then the audience fell away. Well, we still had these kind of odd dots up here. So we kind of throughout the kind of as we hit the summer of 2019, we kind of have this kind of increase, and then it drops away a little bit, and then increases again. This is partly driven by it's a fairly small community, so in a sense it's kind of fairly easy to, if you add 100 daily active unique wallets, then you're kind of increasing by 50%. And AXIE Infinity has been quite good. It has quite a small community, but it was doing a lot of streaming over this time, and was gaining quite a bit of kind of just general kind of Twitter or social media interest. Then what happens is things go a little bit quieter. So the blue dots here we see are kind of falling away, end up back to kind of about 150 daily active unique wallets. The red diamonds, we're talking about them. So the red diamonds, so this is actually, so we had the land sale here. This is people actually buying land, but this is the land marketplace. So people have bought land and own it, and now they can start trading it. So it's a different sort of activity, and that's why I've kind of showed it in different color and different dot type. The other thing to note is probably, I would say, most of the people who are doing this land trading are probably also represented kind of here. So this isn't kind of, there may be a few people who are just doing land kind of trading for kind of speculative purposes and not actually playing the game, and that may be the case. But generally, this is the same audience, and you can kind of see anyway that the people who are doing land, who are trading land, is a very small number. So you've got tens of people here compared to hundreds of people playing the game, and that's quite interesting, I think, for a lot of blockchain games that have these different elements, particularly driven by kind of land, which is a more permanent kind of ownership item. You don't necessarily go trading land every day. You might want to, I want to buy some land, and then you buy it, and then you never do that again. Or some people might be kind of looking to kind of flip lands. They might buy some and then try and sell it again, but there's not much activity here. So this is not something necessarily people are logging in every day to do land sales. But this is much more like with AXIE Infinity, you probably would be going in every day and doing some battles and other things. And this is the other things get interesting here. So in terms of back to the blue dots, we see this big falling away here. This is September. And what happens in September is the gas price on Ethereum doubles pretty much. So we see a quite big falling away. Most Ethereum games show this characteristic because the gas price doubled. It costs more to get a transaction saved onto the Ethereum blockchain. So people basically just stop playing Ethereum games, or most games that I've looked at have lost about half their audience because of the price. The Ethereum gas price goes back to normal, and the audience kind of goes back to normal. And then what's interesting here, which is partly one of the reasons I did this kind of video, is we hit 2020 and we see this very strong kind of increase again. And this, in a similar way to what we saw with the land sales, this is the release of a new kind of a build of the game, I guess we could call it. They're calling it the Community Alpha. And this is available for people who own at least 3 AXIE NFTs. So you need to own 3 AXIE NFTs in your wallet to get access to this. You also have to download. You can download it onto PC or Mac, or you can download it onto iOS or Android. It's an alpha product, so it's not the finished thing. But this is kind of the start of integrating this land sale that happened over here with the kind of existing features of the game, which are kind of breeding and battling. The other interesting thing that they added here is they over this period of time when not much was going on in terms of users, there's a lot of development work going on. So there's this new kind of model now where previously you had to level up characters. You needed to level up your AXIEs in order to breed them. And you leveled them up by battling them. So that was the mechanic, just to stop people just breeding all the time, like happened in CryptoKitties, where you could just breed as many as you wanted, and you now end up with like 1.7 million AXIE CryptoKitties. But a new mechanic now is to breed AXIEs, which is a key part of the game. Is you have to have these small love potions. You get small love potions by battling in the arena, but these are ERC20 tokens. So these are like a cryptocurrency, like any other ERC20 token, like DAI or something like that. So what's interesting now is we're starting to see people spending their time playing, battling the games, winning these small love tokens, either using them to breed better axes, because you can breed better axes that make you better in the game, or you can breed better axes and sell them off to people. Or you can actually, if you're not so bothered about breeding, you can just get these small love potions and then sell them to other people in the game who want them. So we're kind of seeing this kind of interesting activity spike. And actually, if we look back at what's happened with AXIE Infinity over the past year and a half, we have this big spike here with land sales. But actually, where AXIE Infinity now is, it's pretty much never been as popular as it has been at any point, because this activity was all driven by land sales, which was kind of like a one-off thing. So this is much more kind of organic behavior, what we'd expect in the finished game, as much as these games are ever finished. But obviously, it's just the alpha build going on. And the other thing to note is you need 3 axes to do this. So the people who are playing this community build are probably a subset of people who are just interested in the game as well. So I guess as a takeaway, this is a good example of the kind of trends we see in a blockchain game, or in fact any game, but because it's on a blockchain game, we can get a lot of data about what's going on. We really see things are driven by new features in the game here and here. Things are activities driven by kind of systemic things going on the blockchain, like gas prices, and we also kind of have these interesting things being measured on different blockchains. I guess as time goes on, that get more complicated to combine all this kind of cross-chain stuff into a kind of holistic view of what's going on. But the takeaway is AXIE Infinity, lots of stuff going on there, pretty interesting. I guess it's interesting for me personally. It's always been a game that I've had quite a lot of contact with the people who are behind it. We've always had a really good community that's always been kind of stressed by everyone. And it's always been interesting to me that they've not had more users, because they seem to have, if you have all these kind of building blocks in place, then it's a surprise they've only ever had like hundreds of daily active unique wallets, whereas some blockchain games have thousands. So what we're looking to see here is how quickly this one increases. Now, will it be like a big jump to 400, 500? Who knows? Will it be a kind of steady increase as the game gets more features and they pull more people in? That's not for me to say. I can't judge that, but one to keep an eye on. So anyway, AXIE Infinity, if you haven't played it yet, definitely one to jump onto. If you buy 3 axes, which you do using a Ethereum wallet like MetaMask, that's quite cheap to get into, and you can start playing this beta, which is a client, so you have to download it. It's a little bit different experience for that, but definitely worth checking out. Thanks for watching the video. Thanks for checking out the video. So Blockchain Gaming World, all about the world of blockchain games. Spend a lot of time analysing what's going on in that sector. If you've got any comments, put them in the comments box, please. But otherwise, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you again soon.